Aloha, welcome Ohana. Thanks for tuning in. Today we've got Tahnee and Shaun de la Cazada, and we're gonna just talk story with them. They've got a lot of interesting background, insight, and experience, and we're gonna tap into that and see if some of that doesn't resonate with you. So let's get right into it. Hello, my friends.
Hi, Brooks.
It feels like within the recent last 2 months, yeah, like we finally got to kind of connect and and just spend more time in each other's circles. Because uh, when was the first meet that I
Uh,
sat next to you on the table?
was at the Kako
Yeah,
event in Big Island. What month was that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was in
April, I believe.
that was April.
Earlier this year.
And
Yeah.
then and I knew already, like I went there for certain people, and you guys were two of those people that I went, but you kind of had some stuff going on, and you guys were already going mainland.
Yeah. So I'm in the military with the Hawaii Army National Guard,
Okay.
and then I was slated for some training out in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, so about 4 hours south of Kansas City, and just being out there, going with our family was a really big transition. So just coming back and then coming back into real estate, the networking, getting back into our community. It's kind of been one of our priorities coming back home.
And it doesn't seem like you skipped a beat because you came back. And how many meetups or events have you coordinated since you've been home?
I think we've done our large for real estate conference. We've had our Reconnect and Vala'au. That one I just pulled out of my butt and I was like, I want something. Let's everybody meet at the bar. And then we have our G Spot, our Wahine networking event coming up. And then we have another blue collar. So yeah, we're still trying to get in more before the end of the year.
Well, is it always this jam packed, or how long has it been since you've been coordinating these events with this amount of intensity?
I think I was kind of aiming for maybe one every month or so, and then now I'm just like, how can I fit in one every 2 weeks? I'm exhausted, but it's fun. It's worth it. I love just being with growth-minded people, right? Talking about the same things, how we can get ahead.
Yeah. So I would imagine by you spearheading all of these events, you're getting so much more than what people realize that they get out of it. So everybody shows up to just kind of absorb, right? The energy that seasoned investors or people a little bit more akamai than ourselves, because we want to rub off, right? But what do you guys get out of it besides bringing everybody together? Because that's a big thing. Like, what do you? I'm sorry. Let me rewind that. What do you get out of the bringing of everybody together?
Well, I think when you're pouring into people, people pour back into you, whether it's by them borrowing our confidence or our experience, right? They're learning from our lessons. So we're both the oldest of our siblings, right? So it's kind of, I guess, the thing of the oldest children, right? Hey, let me go forge this path. Let me make mistakes, and then I want people, my siblings, right, our
Hmm.
siblings, to do better than us. So that's kind of what I feel like we bring to the table when we have these events.
Nice.
It's a lot of abundance mindset. Talking, bouncing ideas with like-minded individuals too is really good. And pouring into somebody, inspiring them. Thinking. You have that inner. You got the inner person talking to you saying, "Man, I can't do this. I can't do this." But then when you have somebody similar or have the same upbringings, it means a lot. It comes.
Easier to connect
Yeah,
with.
it's easier to
Yeah.
connect. Thank you, Brooks.
Yeah. No, it's I could connect with you on that.
Yeah.
Like, just not having the confidence or visually being able to see somebody that I can connect with do it, then be like, oh, you know what, I can do that, right?
For sure.
Now, how has this ride been for you? Because it seems like she's a stallion and you just got to hold on for the ride. But what kind of role do you play in your real estate journey and in the family? That dynamic there.
So we've been doing this for a few years. First off, I would have to say I was more the support role,
Hmm.
doing the kids, letting her do her thing. But 2022, I was real intentional. We set goals, we sat down and talked, and I said I'm gonna close on 10 doors. I'm under contract right now for my 10th door, and I became an advisor with WNN, and it's been great. I'm glad she was able to kick me in the butt, and I love what I do. This is awesome.
What do you mean? Let's for the people that maybe don't really understand, what does a door mean? You said closing 10 doors.
Single family homes. Yeah.
Okay. So one door equals property?
One property, correct.
Okay,
Yes.
so you've got how many properties now?
I'm under a contract for my 10th one.
Nice.
Yes.
So does that mean you got to share them with her?
Yes.
What's his is ours. What's mine is mine.
So I spearhead residential, and she spearheads the commercial. So
And then, so how did you guys develop your delineation of you doing commercial and you doing residential?
good question.
So when I first started, well, if we take it back to buying our first home.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So
yes.
our first home, because I am with the Hawaiian National Guard, I'm a veteran. I deployed, right? I get access to the VA loan. So the VA loan, we got married in 2017, and we kind of like got married. Okay, now the next step is the house, and, and the kids. So
The American dream, yeah.
right, the American dream.
Check the box, right?
Right. So we were looking for our first home, and I was like, I want a yard. I want this. I want I want 4 bedrooms for my kids. I want all these things that I wanted. But what I wanted, it was further out than, central Oahu, right? So we had to go further west. So we were looking in Waianae, and he worked in town. I worked in Kapolei. So he was like, what? That's the traffic, blah, 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 blah. And I'm very adamant on what I want, and my way is the right way and the correct way. So we're going to do what I want.
For those of you who don't know her, if somebody tells you how they are, believe her, because that's even when she mimicked herself, like, I'm like, oh, she's actually doing herself.
No.
She's that's an impersonation of herself. Like, that's spot on.
So we bought our first home in Waianae, right kind of near the Tasty Freeze, or what's it called now?
Pi'ilau Park.
Oh, by Pi'ilau Park, yes. So we bought our first home, and
I joined the army after that.
then he was like, oh, my wife's so amazing. I want to do what she's doing.
Don't
I'm
tell me
just
she
kidding.
recruited you.
No, she did not.
I told him, don't do it.
Influenced, but
it was a draft.
It was the VA. That benefit was amazing. So I joined. I went to boot camp, AIT. I joined the 147 Field Artillery Hikino Charlie Battery, and we deployed to Afghanistan right before COVID. So
You guys deployed together?
no, we didn't.
no,
She deployed
definitely
before, and then when I came back, I got my VA too. So was able to buy an off-market townhouse in Kapolei. So
Nice.
that was pretty good. Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Okay, so where were you guys at with your relationship? You bought using your VA, and then you bought using your VA too.
Correct.
Now, most people that know me know that I'm a VA specialist, because I did, like, for the first 6 or 7 years, that's all I did was VA loans. But I haven't talked about loans in such a long time. It's been like invest, right? So can you guys talk about the timeline in which you did that, and then how you're able to get 2 different VA loans at the same time?
Yes. So when we bought in 2017, around November timeframe. So at that time, our interest rate when we closed was like 4-point-something%. And I remember our lender, because at that time we didn't have like 800 credit score, right? It was, I would say, maybe like 690-ish, right? And maybe, I don't even know, probably closer to like the 680 that you need, right? But we were where we could get the loan. And it was about 4-point-something%. I remember the lender saying, are you sure you want to buy this house? No one's ever going to want to assume this 4-point-something loan, right? Because at that time that was high, right? So me being the person I am, I was like, nope, we're going to buy it, going to figure it out. I'm not going to wait, because I want it now.
Yep.
My delayed gratification, I want things now. I want it now.
So what happened?
Now is a delay for
What
you?
came up?
Now is a delay.
What came up when we was in escrow and it was like a week out, right? Wasn't a week out? It was a week out.
But already
Oh, okay.
cut. And we talked about we're at 4.
Roger.
I'm totally making that a reel.
But so it was at the 4%, but we I still decided, oh, we're gonna buy this house.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, was it the next year?
I believe it was 19.
19. So we lived in it for a year,
Mm-hmm.
and when we had our house, I don't like to say we're broke, but we didn't have the abundance of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were scraping the bottom. So I would let like the electrical bill go until it said past due,
Final notice. Yeah.
and he would be like, "Oh my God, final notice," and I'm like, "They're not gonna turn it off. Like, I don't have money to pay that right now, right?" So it's just just balancing. Okay, I'm gonna pay the electrical
Swapping,
bill,
you know.
gonna pay for the water bill, but the one thing that we always paid for was the mortgage.
Yep.
Right? We had the house, and as far as the water and electric, or we're watching, TV, then it would we couldn't.
It's not connected.
It's
What's
not
going on?
connected. No more Wi-Fi, and he'd be like, "You pay the bill." Well, I'll pay it now, right? I was just paying just enough so we could have
As
those
needed,
things
like,
as
yeah.
needed. And he was working at the prison. I was like, "Oh, you have to eat the prison food, right?" Whenever he was at work, I was like, "That's what's gonna make the ends meet at that time, right?"
Yeah.
So we weren't broke. Like, we had a house, we had water, we had electricity. So I wouldn't say we were.
You guys are camping.
Yeah, we were camping in our house, right? We didn't have
Luxury
have
camping, there you
furniture
go.
in our living room. We just had our bed. When our friends came over, everybody hopped on our bed. Gross, right?
That's how you guys got close.
Yeah. So we just had 4 bedrooms with nothing in
One
it.
bed.
One bed that was in the living room. We didn't have a couch. We had that, our TV, and that's what our first kind of year in our own house looked like.
So you did that for 12 months, and then.
And then we could afford a couch.
A sectional.
Yeah.
So you bought one piece at a time.
But so he joined, and then a month after he joined, then I was Hapai with our son, right? Then he was like, "Oh, I changed my mind." I'm like, "Dude, that's not the way the Army works. Like, you already signed up. You already said,
Yep.
I'm going." And then so when he left for basic training, his AIT, I was still in the house by myself. But then as I got closer, he did come back before he deployed, right? So that in between time, we were still in Waianae. And then I gave birth. He was home for maybe 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah, a month or two.
Yeah. I said 3 weeks. You said a month or two. Baby was 1 month when you left. Yeah, so at that time...
We know who analyzes the deals in this family.
I told him, I said, I can't live this far. I need the support, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have an amazing village, right, that helps raise our kids. Like, my parents, my brothers and sisters, his parents, brothers and sisters.
Where are they located?
So Kalihi and Mamanalo.
Yeah, so very far from
Waianae.
Waianae.
That explains a lot between you two, by the way. Bambai, I share with you guys why.
So I moved back home with my mom, my dad, and whatever siblings were home at that time while he was deployed. And then from there, we turned our primary residence into our first rental.
Nice.
And then when he came back, we utilized his VA loan. So my loan was already, what's that called? I was already using it, so I couldn't, at that time.
First tier eligibility, yeah.
And because if you use your VA loan, the second time you pay a higher VA fee.
Funding fee,
right,
yeah.
Funding fee. So we used his for our second property that we purchased.
And that was
Townhouse in Kapolei.
nice.
Yeah.
And then
Something more reasonable this time.
I was like,
We
I'll
got
just,
it off market. So
yeah.
we got
So of course I don't want to be in a townhouse because I'm very loud. We're very loud, right? When we argue, it's even extra loud.
When she speaks, it's we, but
her.
And so when we bought that house, it was a pocket listing from our realtor, right? So off market, undervalued. The family who was living in it, they boyfriend, girlfriend living it together. They separated. They both started their own families, remarried. But this one property was kind of digging into both of their finances,
Okay.
right? So helping them solve their problem, helping us get into a property quicker, off market, not going through, two different realtors, kind of taking out some of the extra costs. We were able to close. My initial rehab was, okay, we're just going to paint and do the flooring.
Oh, Lord.
Oh boy, Pinterest and everything went. Started scraping the popcorn ceiling. Almost had a divorce then. Then we went to flooring and cabinets and tile. We did a lot of sweat equity.
You know, that
It was
is the
great, though.
evolution of it, though, because I tell you, I went through the same thing in my marriage, too. And yeah, Pinterest is a problem for married couples, I'll tell you that.
Sure.
Every wall every room in my house has an accent wall. I think I painted like the bathroom one color, and I was like,
Oh no,
tell your dad I don't want that color. Can you
My
repaint
dad was a
everything?
painter back in the day, and she made the bathroom like a navy blue. I was like, oh, this is dark, and I was like, oh, you better go tell her. He goes, yeah, I think we ought to go with a white, and the white makes it pop, so it's a lot better.
Then we had our nursery. We were doing that, and I was like, I don't like that color. And he was like, what? I already painted the other. I said, well, I'll paint it myself.
Stubborn.
Yeah.
As you can see.
Well, that's a good and a bad thing, right? You're stubborn because you don't want to give up, but if you don't give up, then usually you get whatever you start out to achieve, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say too much of anything, right? Like,
Well, I definitely noticed that you guys are
perseverance.
a really good, like, yin and yang for each other. You guys are just authentic with your relationship, with who you are, and it's not like you're putting on a show in front of everybody. Like, this is us. Like, this is your family.
Nothing to hide.
Yeah, you don't need to hide. Yeah, but I think you guys support and love each other regardless, and so that's the good thing about it. So yeah, I remember going through some of that stuff during my marriage. But it is a discovery process too, and you guys find your medium that you guys are comfortable with, and then like that's it. Like we love each other, we make it work, and let's go.
Oh yeah, we took it out every day.
Pick your battles.
So okay, so that was a pretty like quick transition, right?
Yeah, so 2017 we bought our first, and then 2020 or 2019 we bought our couple day home.
Okay. So at what point did you guys make the jump over into the investing world? What stirred that pot or that interest for you?
So I was reading the Burr book, right? So the Burr is buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. One of the strategies in real estate. And I was reading the book, and if you read that book, the concept is there, right? Like how you can put that into action. But the prices that they were saying in the book was like, oh, I bought a house for $30,000.
That's not Hawaii reality.
Right, and I was like, oh, I get it, right? I understand, but where can I do that, right? Like a house in Hawaii, like there's no way I'm anywhere to get 30,000, right? You can maybe a parking stall, maybe, right?
Yeah.
So I was reading it, and then I found another friend who was doing what I wanted to do in the Midwest, and I just asked the question, like, hey, how are you doing it? What are you doing?
What friend is this?
Blaze.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Nice.
Blaze, you had him on your podcast too, right? So we went to elementary school together. And just through Facebook, right, social media, just kind of the friend that you pop up, like. You see
What
kinda
school is this? Because there's a lot of knuckleheads that come out of that school, apparently.
Inkly, Kapalama Elementary, across of Kamehameha Shopping Center.
Okay, just had to clarify that. Okay.
Yep. So I saw what he was doing, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm closing on my second door, and I'm a part of this mentorship." He's like, "I can help you if you want," but for me, I knew that if he's taking time out to help me, that's time out of his own family, his own investing. And I was like, nope. I know the value of like investing into yourself, right? I said,
Education and
yeah,
learning.
just tell me about this mentorship, and I'm in.
Where do I sign up?
Yeah, where do I sign up? Right, and that's pretty much how like I started. I told him, I'm like, oh, let's do this, and he's like, whatever you want, hon. Like if you think you want to do it, I support you.
Oh, boot camp did you well, yeah.
He's like,
Whatever you want, babe.
Whatever you want, I support you. And then he was kind of, I would say, like, are you sure? It's a lot of money.
Real scarcity mindset, yeah.
And
I mean, it is though, right?
Comfortable and stuck in our ways.
I mean-
my ways, personally. I was like, nah, we're good. But
Considering what you guys just talked about, you came from not being able to pay your certain bills until it was the time out of necessity to now talking about what was the dollar amount at the time?
For which one?
For WNN.
At that time, we joined back in 2020, so we paid 15,000.
So, I mean, really, that's more than a brand new car. That's more than, you know what I mean? That's not as much as private school education in some places, but it still ranks up there in life purchases. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like I would say it's easier to spend 15,000 on your kids' education, right? Like, oh, but you're always trying to we're trying to give our kids the best education, right? So money's not, of course, it's a factor, but you're gonna be like, when you weigh it out in my head, right? Like, if he goes to private school, then these are the opportunities that would be afforded to him. So for me to spend 15,000 right now, it's more like personal responsibility. There's nobody else to blame except for myself.
Yeah. And it's funny because we make a bunch of decisions that are rational. But when you make a decision on your kids' education, that's completely emotional because there's no way to quantify how much they're going to get out of it. You know what I mean? But you want the best for them, the best opportunity. So, okay, so you bought in, right?
Yep,
right
so
away?
I bought in, and I guess we kind of you talked about kind of how our journey started, right? So getting into our first home, he was good. He was done. He checked the block.
Checked the box, yeah. I was happy. I was content. We could live there, and I'll be good. I'll be set, But my wife over here is a go-getter.
Did that come from maybe your family?
Yeah. I mean, my upbringing, my mom and dad never did. They didn't own their own property,
So just owning a home was an achievement in itself.
That was a big achievement, yes. Okay. For sure.
But not you.
I was like, nope, okay, to the next. So my plan was like every 3 years we're gonna buy a home. That was my goal, right? Because if you buy a home and you live in it for 2 years, right?
Avoid the capital gains tax.
Right? And then you can rent it, right? So in my head, that was my strategy. Every 3 years, and he was just kind of like, yeah, okay, hon, sure.
That's enough time in between for me to be okay with it. It's like having another baby, yeah.
Yeah. Stop! I'm coming out to 3 years right now.
Well, what was it? Every baby, we're gonna buy a house. That's what it.
Yeah, so because he was like, oh, I want more kids, and so I was like, well, I want more houses. So I was like, okay, every.
It's a good compromise. I like that.
So every time I have to be pregnant, we're gonna buy a house. But I took that off the table now because now he has 9 doors.
Well, that's good because now. So I'm gonna jump to you on that because what got you to just you're going gangbusters this year.
Yes.
You drank the Kool-Aid.
Yes.
But now it's on your own. This isn't with her by your side doing this. You're independent. This is something you're doing for yourself, correct?
Ideally, but I mean it's
for the family,
yes,
but this is your journey. This is your endeavor.
Yeah, this is the goal that I made. Super intentional, and I'm completing it. Yes.
Okay, so tell us about that. Like why, aside from the whys, the typical, like everybody's like your why, it's your family or this and that.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think as men too, there's a little bit of a difference. Like so, maybe let's touch upon that a little bit.
Dig deep on why.
Yeah.
I would have to say, I was working at OCCC and just pounding, just cranking overtime, making good money, but my quality of life wasn't great. My relationship was kind of going downhill, my health, and just wasn't being there for my kids, wasn't present. So 2022 came and I bought in. She's like, hey, well, we sat down, we did our goals, and I said, I'll learn about real estate again, I'll read books. Mm-hmm. She said, you said that was your goal last year. And she challenged me, and she goes, just sit on the Zoom calls with WN. And months went by, I started doing that, and I immersed myself to it, and I bought in. I drank the Kool-Aid, like you said, and with that support, the encouragement, and the like-minded individuals, just that abundance mindset was able to get me where I'm at today. And there's another way. It's not the way, but it's my way, and I love what I do right now. So right now, I just became an advisor, and I'm giving back to the new mentees and trying to assist and get everybody on board. So
that's good. And the reason I wanted to highlight you on that is because I come from a long line of successful women. They're all bullheaded. I mean, you probably get along with my mom. You called her out in the conference, and I had to tease my dad.
And me and dad, and me and Pops was wearing the same shirt.
Yeah. See, there's a likeness there.
Yes, there is. It's funny.
But I think as men, we're required to just grin and bear it a lot of times, right? But there's some stuff that we want to accomplish too. Number one, like I always want to be a provider, but yet unfortunately, I go for similar women that are super strong-willed, and a lot of times I can end up taking the support role too, but that doesn't mean that there's not huge value that I can provide, right? And things that I need to accomplish to validate myself inside as a man too. So it's really good to see you doing that on your own, and I like the dynamic that you guys can let each other do your things without interfering, because I think as spouses we always like, oh no, no, you're not doing that right. Oh no, no, like do this, do that. And you wanna. That's the.
I still do
Oh,
that.
she still does that. And I mean, this past year going through that, she would let me kind of, she'd be on the backseat and just let me go. And I'm pretty sure it was grinding her inside, like,
Yeah, just like
guys doing?"
I can't take this.
Hey,
like-
but I mean, hey,
but good for you.
like controlling
Yeah.
in her. But I mean, it's right
No.
there. I did it,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's good. And so many other kane and just men need to be able to see that. So you're a huge example for other men out there.
thank you, Brooks.
So that's, and especially in the relationships, because once you're in a relationship, you feel like you're stuck. Yeah, like whatever the relationship has already become, a lot of times it's hard to like, okay, well, how do I get back parts of myself that I gave up in order to be in the relationship? So I really like you guys' dynamic. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a shift, I would say. Like for me, like
Yeah.
watching him do it, I'm like, OMG,
But aren't you
what
proud,
are
though?
you doing? Right. But for me, right, I am very loud and outspoken, right? Controller, right? So I'm so when he's going through it, right, for me to sit down and to shut up and not say anything, that was the hardest thing. To just sit back. Like so a lot of people like a hard thing for them to do is do something. For me it was to sit back
Not
and
do
do
anything.
nothing. And because I'm the oldest, right, the wife, like the household, making sure everything's okay and in line and in order.
If you want something done right, you do it yourself.
Yep, do it myself. But that's something that I had to let go and let him make his own mistakes. Of course, I wouldn't let him fail, right?
Yeah.
I would let him get drugged along the way.
Get beat
But
up a little bit.
Like he's a big guy, he can handle it, right?
Yeah.
But then ultimately, like now going into the end of the year, a lot of people see the rise of his story,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, look at where he's at now.
Yeah.
But when I was saying, oh, dig deeper on why he started, right? Why you started, it was because you were
To
in
get
a
back to that, I was in a low place. For the people that know me or like we lost our daughter, and I coped different. I drank a lot. I was
internalized
I
too.
was real negative.
Yeah.
Tani was, I don't know how she did it, but she was just the rock, the backbone. So yeah, that was a big part of my motivation and my why to get my relationship back with my wife as well as my kids and just be that family man that I am now. That was the game changer. That was like, oh boy, you better wake up now or
Yeah.
you're done.
Step
yeah.
up to the plate. Yeah.
So sure did, and I swang. So
And that stepping up to the plate is different for everybody, and I think in different stages of our lives. So I really see, and I'll highlight that too because people that know Tani, they already know her. You can hear her before you see her. Yeah. You like that, yeah?
So I don't
What's
get
so
it.
funny?
What's so
a
funny?
little chihuahua.
But so yours is the visual growth that everybody got to see. The internal growth is yours to be able to step back and let him do it and learn on his own. And I think a lot of time is even as parents, that's hard for us to do. Yeah, I'm glad that we can talk about these things openly, and it's good. It's good for everybody else, because we all talk about real estate.
Yeah. I mean, and for us, right, I know, like, we don't, if we're arguing, right, people will see me roll my eyes, like, give him jabs, right? That's us. That's real,
Yeah.
right? And he's just laughing because he just thinks it's a joke, right? But in front of people when we do our networking, right, people love to see us, like, oh, my God, I love that you guys are here together. You have your kids and your family. Like, before we get to anywhere, we're probably bickering, right? When we leave, we're probably bickering, right? But
Why are you
that's
lying? No.
I think people just see what they want to see on, social media, right? The big thing, like, what are you portraying,
Yeah.
right? And I think what people love and enjoy when they do see us is there we are
Just keeping
exchanging
it
like
real.
little
Just
blows,
keeping
right?
it real.
Like
This is real. Yeah, you guys aren't hiding behind the
Mm-hmm.
camera. I mean, this is, I mean, even your son on stage, like, oh my God. Okay, go sit down then if you like already. Yeah.
Yeah, with our kids, right? We're trying to, in the beginning when I was doing it, right, I was just so focused in a tunnel vision. Like, this is what I need to do. This is my next step. This is how I'm going to make my family rich. This is how I'm going to, create this wealth. And then along the way, my parents, my mom was like, I know you're, super driven, but why are you doing what you're doing? Don't forget about your kids. And I'd be like, oh, I'm not forgetting about my kids. This is why I'm doing it, right? But I know what she was saying, right? Because she's the grandma, right? She's the mom. She wants to make sure that the grandkids are being taken care of. My dad worked super hard. The sun was down. He was working, right? Both day and night. And my mom was working 3 jobs at one point, and I was the older sister, right? So they didn't have the opportunity to spend a lot of the time with us, right? So she was making sure that we're spending the time with our kids and not like, hey, now my kids are in high school, right? They're having grandkids. It's
Not perpetuating that generational sin that they felt regret about.
yeah. So they're working, right? That's the way that my dad shows love, right? Like, yeah, I'm working super hard for you. This
To
is what it
provide.
is. Yep.
Yeah.
And his thing,
Sure
his
does, though, yes, yeah.
his I guess advice or guidance is like, hey, do you want to be where I'm at? I can provide for my family, but he wishes he had deeper relationships with his kids.
But that's the other thing too, is that the mentality of that generation, they work so hard, they sacrifice, bust their ass so that you guys don't have to. Us, we don't have to do that, right?
Exactly.
But if you're gonna just repeat the same stuff that we went through, then poho, right? For nothing, not for nothing, but they don't want you to go down the same road. They want you to get generationally better, right?
So they were in I would say, the survival mode, right? As my parents, I'm not know if you could relate with your parents, like survival mode, right? Making sure that we have clothes to go to school, making sure that we do have electricity, right? All the things that's where, like, we were making ends meet, right? With just 2 of us. We didn't have kids, right? We were okay with doing that, but for them, there was 8 of us, right? 8 siblings. So, like, this, one of the other.
You had 8 siblings?
Yes, I'm the oldest of 8. The baby is 8.
And how many?
I'm the oldest. I got 2 sisters, so 3. But to touch on that, that is our goal. We're driven to get financial freedom, and that freedom, that time to be at home with the kids, be intentional with them, do whatever we want. We get to choose when and what we want to do. Travel.
Does this mean because you got 10 doors, you guys can fill that many more kids?
No. No, definitely
1,
not.
2, 3 tops, but I don't know. We'll see.
So where's life taking you guys from here? Because I mean, I got a little idea. The GPS has got its destination already, but what does that look like for the rest of the world?
I mean, our goal, I would say, for next year, 2024, we're going to purchase a RV, and we're gonna cross country. We're gonna go all over. So that's what we're gonna do, right?
Well,
are you getting hesitant?
No,
25
so
maybe?
that's my goal. He was like, I don't want to be in an RV. And I'm like, but look, so cool. Our kids we can go wherever we want. Why? Because we can.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't want to drive it.
Well, I'm gonna be driving it. It ain't gonna be her. She's
And I'm
gonna
like
be
sending
kicking her
him.
feet up in the back, drinking her beer. So I'm not gonna do that.
I was
Setting
sending
me
him,
up, yeah.
sending him all the like the TikToks, right? Like all the other families who
Oh,
are
like,
doing it.
trying to
like,
sell him on the
and
dream.
I'm like, oh my God, look at this. Look at, like, you have a big screen TV. You can do this. You can do that. We can look. The kids can wake up in the national parks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he just like.
So are we looking at like a tow or a self-propelled RV?
Oh, so he really wants his big lifted
Truck.
right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
said, well, you need, and if you want the big lifted truck, it has to be intentional, right? So now it's gonna pull my big RV.
See how she threw that one right
Yeah,
in,
yeah. What was that, low gear?
But yeah.
So where are you guys gonna park this? Or is it gonna be in a backyard somewhere?
Everywhere and anywhere. Well, so because we invest in Kansas City, Missouri, right? That's kind of gonna be, I would say,
Headquarters.
right?
Mhm.
And then when it gets too cold, we're just gonna go where it's a little bit warmer. when they get
Migrate south.
yeah,
Yes.
just just go. Like show our kids like experiences, right? I mean, we talk about it like, oh, I want our kids to experience this, and that's like your one vacation here. Next year, we've kind of decided together that's going to be our experimental year on just creating streams of income. Like just like yourself, right? What are you doing? You're doing everything. Like, oh, I'm just gonna do everything, right? And people like, oh, shiny object syndrome, right? But we're being intentional with our year, and we're gonna try everything, almost anything, and see which one's working. And the ones that are working, that's the one we're gonna pour into the following years. The ones that's not working, then that's not where our time should be going.
Yeah, it's like split testing, right? You put all your bets here, and then the ones that are paying dividends, then okay, we'll cash out of this one and double it over here.
Shift and
then,
pivot, right? But so this past year or two, it was W-2, and then creating our own portfolio, right? And then now, okay, we see what real estate has done for us personally, right? Being able to do the things we want to do, and we can see our vision is bigger, right? Our mindset has changed.
Yes.
So now we want to keep going in that direction. And we're trying to just figure out different ways that we can create that legacy with our family, spend more time, freedom with our kids.
So it sounds like some continental U.S. mainland life exploration.
Go all over the continental U.S. with the RV, and then I told him, I said, when the kids are a little bit older, I would like to take them across the world and spend all the money that we've saved up for them. My excuse, right? Oh, I have to go see every Disneyland in the world.
Oh gosh, Disneyland. You get a universal fast pass.
Oh yes, definitely.
We have no patience. We pay for that now. That's for sure.
That's good. I mean, there's a quality of life there aspect.
Yes.
I refuse to fly anything less than first class. Not because I can afford it, but because it puts me in a sense of I am a CEO. I am. The rest of my life will be first class. Like I'm gonna build that wealth. You know what I mean? So So if I put myself there, and you know what's crazy is the people I meet in first class have already paid for first class. The people that you sit next to that can afford that on a regular basis, I've met like business owners. I've met like that in itself is worth like its weight. You know what I mean? So, I'm excited for you guys. Now I got somebody to go visit.
Yeah, I mean, like for yourself, like putting yourself in not necessarily the bigger ponds, but the ponds where those are the people you are trying to aspire, to grow with.
I had a friend who kind of hit me over the head, probably like how she hits you over the head. And he said, with all the things that you want to achieve and the goals that I tell him that I'm setting for myself, he goes, you need to surround yourself with a smaller network of higher net worth, right? And although I'm really big on community and helping my community, our community, I can't help them if I'm hanging out with them. Because all the resources that we need are uphill, not downhill. So it really is something that I'm intentional about right now is surrounding myself with people better than myself. Yeah, so that way I can marry up. Yeah. I'm taking cues from you.
No, no, definitely, right? Just surrounding yourself with bigger, better people who, when you speak in that room, right, your dreams is small, right?
Yeah.
So then just not in a small like already it's not good enough, right? But make like, oh, why did I think $100K a year was a lot?
Yeah.
Right. And then now when they're like, oh, it's
because it was in that place of where you were.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
We all started somewhere,
like
right?
100K
And you can't compare
a year.
yourself to somebody else, but when you're with the big whatever you want to call it, the big fishes, the big dogs.
Yeah.
You with them, you're gonna get there.
Yeah.
But I mean that all depends up to you and what you. Time out.
Yeah, no, it does. It's up to you to make that mind shift.
Yes.
So, is there anything particular that you guys want to say? Like you get to
I guess we're talking about more about our family.
marriage. Any relationship is a juggling act, right? There's a yin and a yang. There's a balance to it. Well, my balance is up and down and up. It's more of an ebb and a flow. But how does that look like for you guys? Because it's always has entrepreneurship made that easier or more difficult, right? Learning that stuff, because the one thing I notice, and just because I've been a 1099 like commission only employee for so long, I run my own business. If I don't go to work, I don't get paid, right? And so if I'm not disciplined enough to get up in the morning and show up, it doesn't run without me. So, and right now it's just myself. But how do you guys juggle everything? Because you're still in your W-2, you have all this stuff afterwards. Now, how do you implement all these new strategies, for one, to balance the family dynamic, along with all these, business and the investing that you guys are doing?
I guess something that we do is time blocking. We do time blocking, and we're real intentional when we set our times, what we do. I mean, I'm getting up at 4 or 5 in the morning, analyzing deals before baby gets up, or if baby's up, I try to, juggle it. But it's time blocking and creating a schedule together, basically on our iPhone. And that truly does help us. I mean, it's still a juggle, it's still a challenge, but I mean, we're working on it, and it helps. That helps a lot, being organized, really being organized and having it there, because she can be like, why don't you look at your calendar? It's right there. And there's many times it goes right past my head. I'm like, oh, shoot. So we juggle a lot on top of real estate, on top of our kids going to jiu-jitsu, jamboree, you name it, family functions.
Birthday parties.
Yes.
Oh, did you get the card? No.
So, yeah. You got anything on that?
He made it sound so easy.
Right?
It's not easy.
Yeah.
This is what our week looks like. So he calls into...
This is what it looks like to you, not to him.
To me, right? This is the way it is, right? So he has, on top of me, going to work, right? So he does his thing in the morning. In the evening, it's where it kind of gets hectic, right? Everybody's home at the same time. He has his Zooms that he has to call in on one day, right? And his Zooms are about 2 hours long, right? That's kind of like, that's in our calendar.
Is that for
his residential
okay.
WNN community
Okay.
that they do. But so his 2 hours, he needs complete silence.
Yeah.
He needs complete silence. He needs to concentrate. He needs time before to prep. He needs time after to debrief himself.
Oh,
right?
she's over-exaggerating right
No,
now.
I'm not over-exaggerating.
Hey, a master's got to be in the zone,
So he's in the zone. He needs silence, right? So I give him his silence, right? Once in a while, you hear the kids yell. He's like, shut up, right? For me, right, I'm a facilitator, right? So I'm running the Zoom, right? So my prep time is whatever I can fit in with the kids tugging on
It's
me.
Wonder Woman right here. I don't know.
Mom,
Yeah.
I'm hungry. Mom, can you look at my homework? Mom. And he's asking me, oh, hon, what are we going to do for dinner? And I'm like, Shaun, I just need an hour and a half. And then so when I'm on the Zoom, like I'm constantly on mute. The kids are tugging on me. They're calling me. He's asking me questions. I'm like, do we not get the same thing? Like, what the heck? And so when I'm off the Zoom, right, then it's like, oh my God, Shaun, I give you 2 hours of undivided attention. And now I'm trying to like catch up with cooking and feeding. And he's just like, oh, you're done your Zoom now? But like being entrepreneur, right? Like now you have your, on top of our regular W-2, right? Your own goals that you're trying to hit, the time that it takes to talk to your team out of state, right? The networking functions that we host, finding babysitters, bringing our kids with us to some of our events.
Shout out to the babysitters.
Yep. It's like just, people say balance. I don't know. We're just operating in chaos. It's working for us. Like our babies are our babies.
I have a feeling though, she can't live without the chaos.
Yeah, she likes it.
Yeah. So when it's quiet, you're like, what the hell's all that noise?
We gotta do something. Always gotta do something.
I can't sit still, can you?
Yep. Nope. He's always like,
We don't ever have a Sunday where we're just chilling and watching football. It's either
No such thing.
something.
Like vacation's not vacations, because when you come back, you're exhausted. Yeah.
oh yeah,
You know,
vacations.
on top of vacation. Yes.
We're on the go. Right when we land, we're going straight to the park. I don't care if it's 8 a.m. I already missed the first like rope drop for Disneyland. We're going,
I feel like
and we're not going. There's
Sun
no
up,
naps.
sundown.
Yeah, you want a nap?
all
Sit
day.
on the ride.
Those shoes right there ain't gonna cut it. You're gonna need some New Balance, some Papa shoes, bro.
yeah, so
Need
it's
some
good.
comfortable shoes.
Something with the soles. You know, they
Yes.
have this good brand called Brooks.
Yeah, the running shoes, exactly.
So I'm gonna try and call this out. I feel like you're a fire sign and you're a water sign. What are your astrological signs?
I'm a Gemini.
I don't even know. I have fire, water.
When's your birthday?
October.
We'll look that up. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our balance, like to a lot of families who are trying to get started in real estate, I would say your why has to be so strong. Why do you want to get into real estate? Why are you doing what you want to do? And our mentors, our circle, if your why is strong enough, right, you'll find a way.
Yeah.
That is totally
Yeah.
true.
You can tell
100%.
yourself why you couldn't do it. We call that excuses. Whatever excuse you want to come up with, right? It's your choice. You're choosing the excuse or you're choosing to make it happen.
To make it happen. So I just thought of this now, and this is going to be something I'm going to do at the end of every episode. So we'll take the last couple of minutes and just only gratitude. So talk about, share, speak to any specific people. What are you guys grateful for as individuals and as a couple?
I'm grateful for my wife. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be where I'm at. For my mentorship, WNN, they pour a lot into us, and of course to my family, my support, our tribe. I mean, we couldn't do it without them. Thank you guys.
Nice.
Yeah, kind of the same things that he was saying, but really big appreciation to our family. Like they say, oh, it takes a village to raise a kid. Well, we got 2 kids, and our family takes time out of like their day, you know, to help us reach our goal. Right? Doing the things that we do takes up a lot of time, right? So we went to a seminar this past weekend, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? Our sisters, my sister took them Friday, Saturday. His sister took him on Sunday. Our other events that we have, like, hey mom, dropping the kids off. She's like, when you coming back? Tomorrow, thanks. Right, dropping the kids off to his family, and that's just on top of like we have our W-2. We're both in the guard as well. So our weekends, right, that
Drill
we
weekends, yeah.
are at drill, our family is watching our kids. When we're doing our networking, when we do conferences out of state, they're with our little village. Like, so much appreciation to them, for them. And because our kids aren't easy, it's like a mini Tahnee and a mini Shaun. Like, they're
energy.
taking
That's me
care
and Daryl, man. This
of
kid is
mini
booming.
us,
Yes.
right? So, like,
Like a mini Tanya and mini Tani?
I don't know.
Exactly.
Swade is. I guess he's me as whatever.
I
he's
haven't
telling
met
me.
your kids. I've only seen your son that was on stage. I love the spunk he's got.
yeah, so he's like the spunky one. Like, everything has to be fun. And then my daughter is super bossy. She can't even speak yet, but you know exactly what she wants.
She got that look just like Tanya.
Yeah. So she, without our family, we would not be able to kind of do what we do. Like, the support from them.
Well, I am super grateful for you two. I'm super grateful for WNN too, as I said at the conference. It didn't even dawn on me until then, like how much WNN I have in my life, right? And I'm grateful that you guys are comfortable enough to sit here and have these conversations with me and share it, because really everybody's going to get to see this side of you guys that is, I think, a little bit more in depth than what we get to see when we see you guys out in the meetings, because you guys are so busy coordinating, you're doing stuff, right?
Yes.
But this is the longest I've seen you sit still, as a matter of fact.
I'm trying very hard.
But it's, this is where the depth comes in. This is where you guys actually are coming out the side that we don't get to see because we're so busy in doing these things. So I'm grateful for you guys to come out this way and enjoying the traffic with myself this morning
Yes.
and talking story with me.
Thank you, Brooks. Thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, for
It's good
sure.
fun.
And I look forward to seeing where you guys are at again towards the end of the year. Let's get some progress check-ins and
Yeah, no, definitely.
Let's go.
yeah.
We love being held accountable.
Oh, good. Well, we've documented this video. We're gonna put it out into the world and the universe and social media, and we'll use it as a measuring stick, milestones, and I aspire to do what you guys are doing. As a man, I aspire to do, and I wanted to say this earlier too. I think for so many men out there, especially in your field, us bigger guys are usually like, oh, you play football and that's it,
Yes, yes.
right? And
That's what he went to college for, to play football.
yeah, but he got an education,
Yes.
and now you're doing something with it, and it's not just like you're breaking out of that mold. So I'm grateful for you to that you're showing that to other men out there that have that ability. In real estate, I think women are more successful. Oddly enough, there's more successful women in real estate than there are men. I find for some reason it's just that maybe it's the maternal nature. They know how to coordinate things and make things happen. But as a man, I find my struggles is kind of getting out of that norm of men, and I'm not a normal guy because I was raised by women, so I'm a little bit different. But anyways, mahalos all the way around, and I'm glad to spend more time with you guys tomorrow.